Hello and welcome back to Superior Synergy Games. We're coming at you here today with another deck profile of the top 6 from our Mishi Mondays from March 18th, 2024. So this was just last night and I'm just recording this now as we go over the top 6. So we had a nice turnout here. I believe we had 22 people. So pretty average for Mishi Mondays, so hoping to hit 32 for one of these weeks and kind of fill one of these out. So if you do want to play on one of these, I'm going to drop the link below and you can check it out, and hopefully we can fill this out. So let's take a look at first place. We had Joshua. I know he is a long time, he's played a lot of our Mishi Mondays, so thanks to him for supporting. And it looks like Joshua ran with a red-blue, which it seems like that's what he runs quite often. So starting with the songs, he's got the 4 of Be Prepared, which is pretty much what you'd expect. It's that nice board wipe, especially when you're running a lot of items and locations that don't die to this. 2 of the 1 Jump Ahead to ramp. I know a couple of the characters in here can sing it, so pretty nice way to get that little bit of extra ramp if these fishbone quills or harder to feedies aren't doing the job, but I'd imagine they are. So down to the item package, only the 1 fish hook, which is interesting. I believe in previous lists Joshua was on a couple more of these, so must have decided that only 1 is perfect for them. Obviously the ramp tools here between fishbone and heart. 4 of the popsicle, which is going to be running any really blue deck that's running Flavor Sham. And then 2 of the lucky dime. So I'm seeing a lot more people run 2 of this, just because if you lose the 1, it's nice to have the other option. I know some of these decks run like Tamatoa and maybe Nick Wild to recycle these back if they get discarded, but it's a great game finisher. It kind of gives blue or whoever's running this deck the option to gain lore the same turn they play it, so it kind of equalizes with things like Merlin Goat, where a lot of other decks didn't have that option to kind of close games out. So really nice lucky dime. I think is going to be a staple in the meta, and I think people are only starting to explore just how powerful it is. So down to let's cover the actions quick. We've got the 4 of Develop Your Brain, just a really nice search ability that's inkable and it's very cheap, so makes sense there. So going into the characters here, looks like we've got 6 of Madame Medusa. It looks like no Lady Tremaines, so Joshua decided that they just wanted some removal that they could kind of pick off targets, so really nice there. The 2 of Scar, so it's very similar to Maui, but obviously being able to ready itself after it kills something is pretty nice because you can keep it safe. I know Maui has like Maui's fish hook to give Maui maybe evasive, but Scar can take out quite a few enemies in 1 turn. But obviously it's a bit more expensive than Maui and obviously uninkable, so only the 2 of here, but which makes sense. We've got the 4 of Maleficent, just some really great premium removal, and it's inkable, so I'm sure a lot of these got inked early on, but hey, late game when they're online, they can remove a lot of threats, small and big. So 4 of the Maui, pretty standard in most red decks these days. Maui is a monster that just eliminates locations and a lot of characters and still stays alive after killing things, so you can take a lot of very nice trades. Queen of Hearts, kind of that tool for this deck to have an option early game to maybe deal with aggro. Looks like if you establish it early, you can also sing 1 Jump Ahead with this, so not too bad of a play here. Audrey Ramirez, I've never seen this card before. It says whenever this character quests, ready one of your items, I believe. Yeah, interesting. So this could be used to sort of close out games by readying Lucky Dime. So this is a very cool addition, and it's ward too, so it's going to be pretty protected. So I really like that addition. I'm curious to see if Joshua's running this, if some other people are going to check to see this and maybe try this card out, because I think Lucky Dime is just kind of starting to get explored, and Audrey Ramirez is going to help that become really meta. So looks like Joshua is going back to the Bell route instead of the McDuck Manor, but it kind of makes sense because if you are running that Lucky Dime, you can really easily win games with Bell. Just being able to, if you're at 10 ink, she's questing for 5, and if you're using Lucky Dime, you're gaining that 5 immediately. So I'm actually not surprised here, but an interesting change away from the McDuck Manor that we've kind of seen for a few weeks. We've got the Gramatalis for some more ramp, as well as some just early game presence, and can also sing that 1 Jump Ahead. Flavor Sham is just the draw power in this deck. It's very essential. Judy hops to kind of probably help in the mirror. Can pop the other opponent's lucky dimes. Can pop a lot of pesky items. Item to item meta is kind of real right now, so really nice inclusion. Tamatoa is very great to kind of find the items that you've already blown up or some your opponent has destroyed, so this can get you your lucky dimes back. Or just also be a quest monster, kind of like Bell, that you can target with lucky dime. Hades, obviously, some just really great removal. And then it's a body that comes down after you remove things. And then finally Gaston, just the search engine in this deck, being able to filter through the top cards, maybe look for that lucky dime if you don't have it in hand just yet. And then also he is a decent target for lucky dime questing for 3. So if you don't have your Bell or your Tamatoa stacked with items, this is just another great option for lucky dime. So congrats to Joshua for taking down first place. I'm excited to see if they make any changes to this deck for next week, or if they're pretty happy with what they got here, because it looks like a pretty nice deck. So congrats to them. Let's go into second place. We got Keith, who was our first 4-1 with the highest win percentage. So it looks here, I see a lot of characters, so it looks like this is a Mufasa build. So very interesting deck. It looks like it's running some of the new cards. We got Tinkerbell here, but let's cover first the songs. Looks like we've got the only song in here is the Teeth and Ambitions. This Keith must have just decided they needed a little bit of removal, because obviously this is some great removal. There's a couple cards like Prince Eric that this combo is pretty well with, where you can have him sing it in and pop something. So interesting to see them include an item or a song, but obviously they decided that removal was worth that, taking that chance to not hit off of Mufasa. So let's start off and look at their cost reduction. Looks like we've got the 4 docks in here. They obviously didn't go with any Plutos or any lanterns. They decided dock was enough cost reduction for them. The 4 of Mufasa, which is an obvious choice in here. Rapunzel is the draw engine of this deck, obviously, as well as the Stitches. 4 of Simba, just to act as that bodyguard, maybe to protect Doc, protect the 1 costs. Just kind of be a little bit of a threat down the board. I mean, at that 3 strength, or 3 willpower, sometimes it can survive damage, and Rapunzel can heal it just to give you that little bit of card draw if you can't find anything else. The 3 of all 3 Stitches, so pretty nice little Stitch package here. I believe, look, they are playing the Minnie Mouse, so I was thinking that Stitch was their only 1-drop package, but they do have 7 1-drops in here. The 1 of Tinkerbell, it's a nice kind of little filter through and kind of find the character you're looking for. When you're running a deck that's 56 characters, you're going to have a lot of options. You almost never will have four options in there, so nice with the Tinkerbell. We've got the 2 of the Hydra. This is a tough card to play sometimes, because at that 6 ink, especially uninkable, it can be stuck in hand. But when you get this down, it feels really good, especially against steel decks. Just being able to kind of hit back whenever they hit at it. So I'm sure this is used a lot when steel is used, especially Steel Song. I mean, if someone pops this with Zeus, Along Came Zeus, you can just pop something on their side just back. So really nice card. It's kind of hard to deal with if you haven't dealt with it before. Looks like they decided to go with a half and half with Tremaine and Medusa, so 3 and 3. So very high uninkable count here, but it looks like it's mostly just in their removal here. So a lot of people I see go 2 and 2. Looks like Keith wanted to have that extra of each, so 3 and 3 is not too bad. Obviously the 3 of Maleficent. I got the 5 of Maui, just to deal with the locations that this deck might go up against. We've got the Minnie Mouse package here. It looks like they decided to go with the full set of the Evasive Minnie Mouse. Very great card. I know there's a little bit more options out there to deal with Evasive these days, but you can always just ink it if you decide that it's not going to be safe on the board. And then we've got the 4 Mother Gothels, just that great turn 2 play, as well as it's your draw engine with Rapunzel. So finally we've got the little bit of uninkable here with the Prince Eric. Kind of plays very similar to this Hydra, where it hits back whenever it gets hit. So these can really throw your opponent off if they're not used to playing against them. So really interesting and really great characters that I love to see, and I want to see played a little bit more. So congrats to Keith there on that 2nd place finish. We hope to see you in our next event. So going into our 3rd place, we've got Parker, and looks like we got a different deck for all top 3. So this is very cool. It looks like we've got a discard deck here. So it looks like Parker went ahead with the 4 of Bucky's, Obviously their deck is loaded with Floodborns to get those discard procs. We've got the 3-cost kit, which can be really great in the mirror, as it can bounce this 3-cost Ursula before it can sing songs. So just a really great card to use there. We've got Ursula as well, who's great against so many decks. Not really the Mufasa one that we just saw in second place, but almost every deck is running some sort of spell or a song that you can discard with this. So you can get out those nasty Be Prepared, Whole New Worlds, removal spells, you name it, and as well as just kind of knowing your opponent's next few plays, just seeing their whole hand. Obviously Ursula. I'm just going to quick look at the spells here. We've got 3 different spells that Ursula can sing and double up on. So strike a good match, draw 4, discard 2. That's insane. Strength of the Raging Fire, pretty much just kill 2 targets or kill 1 big target, and then let the Storm Rage on to deal 4 damage and draw 2 cards. That's insane if you can get that off. It kind of can really flip the tide of a battle when you're obviously drawing more than your opponent or dealing extra damage that just the one time casting a spell wouldn't happen. So, and it also shuffles it back in your deck, so you know you have that spell coming back again and again and again. So 4 of the morph. So obviously this deck is loaded with shift targets between the Beast, Cinderella, Robin Hood, Tinkerbell, and even Jafar. So really, once morph comes down, you don't know what's gonna sit on top of it. There's so many different options, so you kind of have to be really prepared for anything. We've got 2 of the Beast here. I believe this is the Relentless Beast. Yep, so this is the one that can keep readying every time opponents are damaged. So pretty great for closing out games if you can keep dealing damage and just keep questing with this, because it doesn't say that it can't quest after it's readied. So interesting to see that the 2 of, but it's inkable, so can easily get rid of it if you don't want it. 4 of Beast. This should be run in every steel deck. I don't even need to cover Beast at all. 2 of Cinderella, just that really great option to go after readied characters and kind of survive pretty much everything. Cinderella is so difficult to deal with, so Be Prepared is one of the only easiest ways to get rid of this. But if you're nailing the Be Prepared out of your opponent's hand with Ursula, your Cinderella is going to sit on board just safely. 3 of Jafar is just that extra card draw when it can take out some low cost, because that 3-4 stat line is pretty nice to kill a lot of 1, 2, 3, and 4 cost characters. And then it's a Floodborn character that'll also proc your Bucky, so really great there. We've got the Robin Hood package. Obviously Robin Hood can shift onto Morph or Small Robin Hood, so and shifting on turn 3, so if you go turn 1 into Robin Hood, turn 2 Morph, your Robin Hood's got 2 different places where he can settle down if your opponent tries to remove one of the 2. Finally, we've got the Tinkerbell. Just that great way to deal damage everywhere. Kind of helps deal with aggro decks and can kind of help even the board out if your opponent's going a little wide. So we've got the 3 of Whole New World, so that extra way where maybe even though they're discarding their opponent's hand, if they run out of tools in their own hand, they can just say, hey, I'm ready to refresh my hand here and maybe discard a bunch more cards out of my opponent's hand. We've got the nice removal here. It hits almost all these Floodborn characters. Robin Hood is pretty much one of the only ones that can survive this Along Came Zeus. So really great to just knock out opposing Beasts, Tinkerbells, Jafars, you name it. Grab Your Swords obviously to help deal with aggro, and then if you mix this with Tinkerbell, you could dish in 3 damage across the board. Not a lot's going to survive that, so you can easily clear the board and kind of even a game out between these 2 cards. So congrats to Parker. Very cool to see Green Steel making it here in 3rd place. So let's take a look at 4th place. We got Elias. Let's take a look at what they've got. It looks like they went with a Steel Song, but the Lantern kind of side of that. So let's cover their songs, I guess, first. 4 of Whole New World. This is obviously standard in any Steel Song deck, having like Ariel and so many other characters able to play it. I do see they are running the Queen package here, which if you do take the shift onto turn 2, you can sing the Whole New World on turn 2, which is absolutely insane. If you're going first, you can drop these and then kind of even out that advantage that your opponent gets for going second and drawing that extra card. So very great play when you're going first. We've got the Zeus. I think pretty much in all these you just kind of run the 3 of all these spells. They're just all great removal spells. Only one with the 2 Grab Your Swords, but this is just your typical package you see in any kind of Steel Song or Steel Amber deck. Obviously have the 3 Bare Necessities, which isn't removal, but Bare Necessities is one of the best cards out there, being able to know what your opponent's going to play and then knock out spell, location, and item. Just it's super great if you know that turn 4 maybe there's a McDuck Manor coming. You can kind of get ahead of it and try and remove it and mess with your opponent. Going into the characters, looks like they've got the Robin Hood package obviously here. We've got Cinderella, who is shiftable onto the 1-cost Cinderella, so a lot of shiftables in here. Same with the Queen and Stitch. So a lot of these characters can come down earlier than they're supposed to, or than their cost indicates them to be. So that shiftability, very, 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 very strong. We've got the 4 of Ariel, which makes total sense in here. Kind of lets you shuffle through your deck and find that extra spell, or sing that 5-cost spell early and kind of surprise your opponent or get ahead of your opponent there. Interesting to see the Chernobog here. I would love to know how many times this came down, because this is a very cool addition. It helps if you're kind of playing a lot of whole new worlds in a game and you're really running out of cards in your deck. This can let you reshuffle all of your characters back into your deck so you don't get decked out. Because I know some of these, when you're playing a lot of whole new worlds and some kind of controlling matchups, the games can go pretty long and you can run through a lot of your deck, especially if both players are playing whole new worlds. So I'm taking a guess that's why they put Chernobog in here. Either way, it comes down as a 9/9 body. Not a lot can deal with that. I mean, in this deck, you'd have to slam it with 2 whole Along Came Zeuses. So pretty nice card to be included in here, and I would love to see if more and more Steel Songs run at least the 1-of copy later on. Be interesting to see. So the 4 of Cinderella, obviously if you can establish this turn 1 and hit all your turn 3 cost spells, you can kind of stop your opponent from playing anything on their turn. Rapunzel here is the draw package. Can heal up any of your kind of targets in here. Similar to that Mufasa package, we got the 3/3/3 of Stitch. I love the 3/3/3 line of Stitch. Just super great to have the draw, the options here. I am interested, I mean, I guess they have quite a few 1 costs, so this Rockstar Stitch is going to possibly get its effect to have them exert and just keep drawing. And then if they all do die, your Chernobog's cheaper. So, as well as this does quest for 3, so pretty strong there. And then the lanterns in here just to get that cost reduction and being able to put your cards down early. It's nice when you set up a bunch of lanterns and then kind of whole new world, and all of a sudden you've still got your lanterns that are cheating you out characters. So very cool take on kind of an Amber Steel list. Like I said, would love to see Chernobog run more in more and more of these lists. So congrats to them on their 4th place finish. 5th place, we got Team Mishi's own Michael Bruno. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this deck because this is actually a deck that I just took into the pack into a top 16 finish. So Bruno obviously came in and added his own spice to it. So I'm going to kind of cover a little bit more of that. So Bruno's got the 4 of Merlin Crab here. I was only running 3. I think having the 4 of Crabs is essential. Helps you take down lots of locations. Also the Cruella inclusion here. When I ran this deck in the pack, I didn't have any way to deal with evasives, so this is an inclusion I would also make. I love this edition here. And then it looks also the Judy Hopps edition of 4. Being able to deal with a lot of different items. Items are a problem right now. They're kind of becoming meta, especially Lucky Dime. And so having that answer to items is really nice. As well as it can kind of be a discount Flavor Sham if you can't find your Flavor Sham. It's okay to just draw 1 card off of it and you have a buy that quests for 2. So very cool addition. I'm going to be testing out Judy Hopps in my own build here shortly. And then my favorite out of all the additions is the Wendy Darling. Having that ward and support kind of acts as a crab, and being able to quest and quest for 2 and hand off that 3 attack over to somebody and have it swing a little bit harder. So really nice addition there with the Wendy. Obviously we got the Manor, Popsicle, and Friends, kind of all essentials. I know I had talked about it. I had run 2 and 2 of the Queen's Castle and Manor. I would go all 4 on the Manor. That 9 strength means way more than the draw on the Queen's Castle when this deck is already littered with draw targets. So very cool to see Bruno here do well with it himself. He went, I think, 4-1 in this event, so congrats to him. And I'm excited to see how this deck evolves a little bit more. So if you do want to see a breakdown of this deck, I do have one in the previous video, so definitely go check that out. So let's go into our final one here. 6th place, we've got Iggy. And it looks like Iggy has gone into a Mufasa build as well, but again, different than the previous Mufasa builds we've seen. I do see that this is, I believe, the exact list that Brennan DeCandio took into the top 16 finish of the pack. So, very cool list here. Running lots of different options. There's a lot of tools in here. You've got the 7-cost Maui, the one of the LeFou, like the Maui to deal with locations, the one of Hades. A lot of different one-ofs in here. It's very cool. I personally really like this Tinkerbell Peter Pan combo. Really cool way to give that Peter Pan that extra attack and kind of surprise people coming down. A lot of people don't think of red as having a nice like 3/3 rush, but with Tinkerbell you can kind of get that. And then if it does survive, it's questing for 2. So really cool there. I'm not going to cover too much of this, as I think a lot of people have seen this list already. But I mean, congrats to Iggy for taking it to this 6th place finish. I believe they went 4-1 as well, or 3-2. So they were the top 3-2 there. I do like the Queen package in here, being able to buff up your Tinkerbell with the Queen and let that swing down things. Just a lot of really cool options in here. I do think you're going to see more and more of this deck. I don't think it's an easy deck to play by any means. There's a lot of uninkables in here, so I think your top players are going to be able to really run a list like this and do some good things with it and really surprise their opponent. I personally don't love one-ofs in this game, being a 60-card deck, but it's very interesting how many are in here, and it's a successful deck with having that many different one-ofs. So I'm interested to see if this evolves anymore, and maybe some of these cards, like the Queen of Hearts, gets a couple extra plays in here, a couple more cards. The one-of Be Prepared is also, again, a very interesting a choice. I'd be curious to see how many times this did pop off and came to their opponent, or came to Iggy when they needed it. So would be interesting to hear that stat, because it's always fun to see the one-ofs in here. So 59 or 55 characters in the lanterns, so very cool deck. Congrats to Iggy as well. And so that's our top 6 here for Mishi Monday, March 18th. So we're going to be back next Monday, the 25th. So if you'd like to get in on that event, I will put a link below to that. So you can join up. I will as well link every single one of these deck lists down in the description, so you can check them out yourself. Click through them if you do like them, and I believe you can also take these lists and you can copy them and get the Pixelborn code and just take it right in and go test it. So there's some really fun ones in here, pretty diverse top 6. So excited for the next one. So thanks for tuning in to Superior Synergy Games, and we'll see you with the next one. Thank you.